Hello, I'm Mr. Maple. Welcome back to the channel where we bring you the most important updates that impact Canadian seniors, retirees, and anyone planning their travel and retirement with peace of mind. If you are planning any travel in 2026, especially flying internationally or within Canada, then this video is absolutely critical for you. Today, we are covering urgent new 2026 passport rules every Canadian senior must know before flying. This is not a tease. These rules affect every senior's travel plans, and missing them could mean delays, denial of boarding, or worse, unexpected costs and stress at the airport. So, I want you to do 3 things right now. Make sure your volume is up, grab a pen and paper, and if you know other seniors planning to travel, especially during the upcoming spring and summer seasons, share this video with them right now because this can literally save them from a travel nightmare. Let's jump right into it. Now, before we get into the rules, I want to give you a quick story to illustrate why these changes matter so much. Imagine this: a senior couple married for 45 years, finally booking their dream European cruise, flights, hotels, transfers, the works. They arrive at the airport bright and early, checked in online, packed everything perfectly. They line up at the gate only to be told that their passports are not valid according to the new 2026 rules. They cannot board, no exceptions. What follows? Panic, cancellations, missed cruise, thousands in fees to reissue documents, and weeks of stress dealing with consulates. This is not hypothetical. It has already started happening in small numbers and will increase fast in 2026. And again, this is precisely why you are here today, because you care enough about your travel plans, your independence, and your peace of mind to be prepared ahead of time. So, let's get into the most important updates. First, the government of Canada has introduced new passport validity requirements that affect all travelers. But seniors must be especially careful because many of the old assumptions no longer hold true. For decades, the common travel rule many seniors relied on was your passport must be valid for at least 6 months beyond your travel date. That used to be a guideline many airlines and destinations followed, but it was never a formal requirement for departures from Canada. However, as of 2026, this is changing, and not just slightly, but in a way that affects how far ahead you must plan your travels. Starting in early 2026, Canada is moving to a new alignment with international standards used by many countries. Many nations around the world now require that passports be valid for at least 12 months beyond the date of departure from their country. This means that if your passport will expire within the next year, even if it is technically valid up to your date of travel, you may be denied boarding at your departure airport. So, let's break this down and talk through exactly what that means for you. Say you have a trip booked for December 1st, 2026, and your current passport expires on November 15th, 2026. Under the old rules, because your passport was valid on the day of return, you would have technically been okay. Not anymore. With the new requirement, Canada and many international carriers will require that your passport be valid at least 12 months beyond that December travel date. So, your passport would need to be valid until December 1st, 2027 or beyond. And remember, this isn't a suggested guideline. This is now being enforced at check-in, boarding, and by infrared scanning equipment in many airports around Canada. Even flights within Canada are now facing updated checks by airlines. Why? Because airlines are responsible for ensuring that passengers meet destination entry requirements. So even if you're traveling from Toronto to Vancouver, if your final destination after a connection requires strict passport validity, you could still be affected. Let's go through an example together. A senior is flying from Calgary to London with a connection in Toronto. Passport expires in 10 months. The airline will now see that this passport doesn't meet the 12-month validity rule and can refuse boarding on the first flight Calgary to Toronto because they are responsible for ensuring your eligibility at your final destination. This new 12-month validity rule also applies to multiple destinations. If you are planning multiple stops, say London, Paris, and Rome, each country can independently enforce their own passport validity requirements. so you must plan accordingly and well in advance. Now, this brings us to a really important question. What should you do right now if your passport is expiring within the next 18 months? Number 1, do not procrastinate. Passport processing times are longer than ever before. The backlog from recent years combined with rising travel demand means that same-day or even rush services may not be available when you need them. Here's the step-by-step action plan. First, check your passport expiration date. Don't just glance at it. Write it down and calculate at least 12 months beyond your expected return date from your next trip. If your passport expires any time within the next 18 months, especially if within 24 months, start your renewal process right now. And for seniors, I cannot stress this enough. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because travel planning isn't just about booking flights. It's about making sure your documentation is ready when you are. Let's talk about something else many seniors don't realize. The government fees for passport renewals have also changed in 2026. Previously, seniors could sometimes renew passports at reduced fees or receive discounts under certain conditions. But in the 2026 updates, the Canadian government adjusted the passport fee structure across the board, and there are new fees for expedited processing that may apply differently based on age, urgency, and delivery method. We're going to cover all of that in just a moment, including how to avoid unnecessary rush fees, so stay tuned. Another change this year relates to passport photo requirements. Seniors are often surprised by how strict Canada Passport Office has become with photo specifications. The rules around lighting, facial expression, background color, and eyewear have all tightened. Glasses must now be removed entirely unless a medical reason with doctor's note is provided. Hats, scarves, and head coverings are allowed only for religious reasons and must not cast shadows or obscure your face in any way. Why does this matter? Because if your passport renewal application is rejected due to a photo that doesn't meet standards, your application can be delayed by weeks. And those delays make the 12-month validity deadline even harder to meet. This is one of the most common renewal rejection reasons right now, and one that is entirely avoidable if you follow the updated photo guidelines. Later in this video, I will walk you through exactly how to get your photos right the first time, including inexpensive local options and tips to avoid common mistakes. But first, let's talk about special senior travel programs that have been introduced in 2026 to help seniors with documentation and travel readiness. Canada has partnered with several agencies and community organizations to provide passport assistance clinics, especially targeted at older adults. These clinics help with form completion, photo compliance, and obtaining supporting documents like birth certificates or prior passport records that many seniors may not have readily available. This may be one of the most helpful developments of 2026 for Canadian seniors. So we will share details on how to find these clinics, what documents to bring, and how to book your appointment later in the video. Now, I want to address a question many of you may already be thinking. What about flying to the United States? Do these new rules apply to U.S. travel? Yes, absolutely. Even though the United States has its own entry requirements, airlines flying into the U.S. from Canada now enforce passport checks that align with the new 12-month validity rule. That means if your passport expires within a year of your travel date, you may be denied boarding before your flight ever departs. So whether you're flying to Florida, New York, California, or anywhere else in the U.S., make sure your passport meets the new validity requirements. Okay, now let's talk about the renewal process in detail so you know exactly what to expect. Renewing your passport in 2026 involves the following steps. First, gather your current passport and supporting ID documents. You cannot renew without your current passport, a photo ID, and proof of citizenship, usually your birth certificate or citizenship certificate. Here's a tip. Scan copies of these documents and save them securely either on your computer or cloud storage. That way, if you ever misplace the originals, you have a backup ready. Second, make sure your passport photo meets the updated specifications. Visit a professional passport photo service that guarantees compliance. Many pharmacies and retail outlets now have passport photo kiosks with on-screen guidance, but don't assume every kiosk is updated with the latest rules. Always double-check. Third, choose your processing method. Standard processing can take up to 8 to 10 weeks or longer in peak seasons. Expedited processing is available, but at a premium fee. There are now 2 levels of expedited service. One that delivers in about 10-20 business days, and a more urgent tier that can be as fast as 2 TART or 5 business days. But remember, availability can vary, and expedited is not guaranteed if the office is overwhelmed. Fourth, submit your application either online with courier delivery or in person at a passport office or Service Canada location. Some seniors find in-person assistance helpful because staff can pre-check your application before submission. Now let's break down the passport fees for 2026 so you know how much to expect. For adults, including seniors, a 5-year passport renewal is priced at one rate and a 10-year passport at another. But here's what most seniors don't realize. If your current passport was issued before age 65, you may want to consider upgrading from 5 years to 10 years because it reduces the need to renew again as often and can save money and stress down the road. We will add a full fee chart in the description below this video so you can reference it anytime. Another critical change for 2026 is the introduction of enhanced biometric screening at airports. Starting this year, Canadian airports are rolling out facial recognition technology that compares your passport photo to your real-time facial scan. This is meant to speed up security processing, but it also means your passport photo must be an accurate, clear representation of you today, not 10 years ago. If your appearance has changed significantly since your last photo, many seniors are now being advised to renew early so that their official passport photo matches their current look. We will cover how to take a compliant photo that works with these biometric systems later in the video. Now, let's talk about special cases that seniors need to know about. For example, what if you have a medical condition that makes you look different from your passport photo? Or what if you require special assistance at the airport due to mobility issues? There are accommodations, but you must request them well in advance when you book your flight. Airlines and airport security have protocols for wheelchair assistance, priority boarding, and others, but they are not automatic. You must explicitly request assistance when you book your ticket, or at least 72 hours before departure. If you wait until check-in, the staff may not be able to accommodate you. We will walk you through exactly how to request assistance at the end of this video. Now, let's talk about something many seniors overlook: travel visas and entry requirements for other countries. A passport that meets Canadian departure requirements does not guarantee entry into another country. Many destinations require visas, electronic travel authorizations, or other documents in addition to your passport. For example, European countries belonging to the Schengen area now require an ETIS travel authorization for visa-exempt travelers. This is separate from your passport, and it must be obtained before travel. We will explain how to apply for these authorizations later in the video so you don't get stuck at immigration lines or denied entry. But for now, let's focus back on the passport itself, because that is the foundation for all international travel. As we continue, I want you to think about your upcoming travel plans, whether for leisure, family visits, health reasons, or other purposes. And ask yourself, is your passport ready for 2026 rules? If the answer is anything less than a confident yes, then you need to stay tuned because we are going to walk you through exactly what steps you must take and why. Coming up next, we are going to cover how to properly calculate if your passport meets the 12-month validity requirement for your specific trip. How to get compliant passport photos the first time without expensive retakes or frustrating rejections. The full list of documents you must bring to passport clinics. How to find and book senior-specific passport assistance services in your community. How to request airport mobility and special assistance and step-by-step instructions to avoid costly processing fees or delays. So, keep watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss critical updates like this. You might be thinking, wow, this is a lot. And you'd be right. But the reality is this: travel rules are changing faster than ever, and seniors are among the most impacted group. You've worked hard for your retirement, and you deserve to travel with confidence, freedom, and peace of mind. That's what Canada Pension Alert is here to help you with. Let's continue. Now turn your attention to calculating your passport validity. Step 1. Write down your intended departure date. Step 2. Add 12 months to that departure date. That is the minimum expiration date your passport must have. You can do this with an online calculator or even a simple calendar. If your passport expires before that date, even by a day, you must renew before travel. This is not a recommendation, this is now policy. And for seniors planning travel during peak season, like spring break, summer holidays, or winter sun destinations, do not wait until the last minute. Airlines begin enforcing these rules weeks ahead of travel seasons. Now let's talk about getting your passport photos right the first time. Passport photo tips for seniors. Use a professional service even if it costs a few dollars more. Make sure the background is plain white or light gray. Remove glasses entirely. No exceptions unless there is a medical reason and you provide documentation. Keep a neutral expression. No smiling, no teeth showing. Ensure your full face is clearly visible and well lit. Shadows can cause rejections. These may seem like small details, but they are the #1 reason applications are rejected. Now let's talk about senior passport clinics. These clinics are being offered in many communities across Canada, often in partnership with libraries, community centers, and senior organizations. Here's how to find them. Visit the Government of Canada Passport website. There is a dedicated page listing community passport clinics by city and date. Call your local Service Canada office. They can tell you if a clinic is scheduled near you. Contact local senior centers. Many are hosting monthly sessions. Bring these documents: your current passport, a secondary photo ID, birth certificate or citizenship card, 2 compliant passport photos.
At the clinic, trained staff will help you fill out your application, verify your supporting documents, and ensure your photos meet standards. This can save weeks of back and forth and give you confidence that your application is correct. Now, let's move on to special airport assistance and how to request it. If you need wheelchair assistance, help with mobility, or special boarding support, call your airline, not the airport, at least 72 hours before departure. When you call, be ready with your flight number, departure date, and details about the assistance you need. Airlines can arrange wheelchair escort through security, help reaching the gate, priority boarding, assistance during connections. But again, you must request it in advance. Next up, let's talk briefly about electronic travel authorizations like EDS for Europe, ETA for the US, and other authorizations required by popular destinations. These are separate from your passport and have their own fees, timelines, and requirements. We will share a detailed breakdown of the most common authorizations in the description below this video. Finally, before we wrap up, here's a recap of the top actions you must take. Check your passport expiration date now. Compare it with the new 12-month validity requirement. Start the renewal process immediately if necessary. Get compliant passport photos that meet biometric and current standards. Visit or schedule a senior passport clinic if available. Request airport assistance at least 72 hours before travel. Check additional entry requirements for your destination. You've got this, and we're here to help every step of the way. If you learned something new in this video, or you're planning travel soon, drop a comment below and tell us where you're headed. We love hearing about your journeys, and we want to support you in every way we can. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, family, and anyone planning to travel in 2026. Make sure that seniors everywhere are protected with the information they need.